Clay bearers, those who grow over rocks, dead dirt. This is my story. I'm a decade-old back-to-Eden grower, and I grow above all that nonsense. I'm going to do a quick little spin here and show y'all the results of my efforts have been nothing but astounding. Down there is my muscadine vineyard. Below it is my pond, compost station. This right here is my chip collection area. It's a greenhouse in the middle of the field because it had to get moved. There's my tractor. I use it for turning over the chips and delivering them. There's a wild apple tree, born in Eden. It's a cherry tree right there with cherries, given to me as a gift because I built a garden for someone and it made so much food, his wife almost threw him out. And in return, he kept growing and kept the wife. There's the garden bed right over there that already has stuff growing in it. In spite of what people told me about how you can't build one in one season and grow in it the same season, it's growing right now. I built it 3 weeks ago. This is my root crop right here with marigolds that protect it. The other side is my fruit crop. It also has marigolds to protect it. I call it the fruit crop zone because this is where I grow my fruits. The ones that grow on the ground and hang on that wire right there. Cucumbers, squash, melons, cantaloupes, blueberries at the bottom. These are all my weeds. Any kind of weed you can imagine grows right here around the gardens. And this is my main garden. And this is my solution to clay and hard dirt with rocks. I'm sure y'all can see the depth of this. This is the top of the garden. It's 12 inches deep above the dirt. Onions love it. Asparagus loves it. Those very mature grapes love it right there. They're growing only in the Eden bed. It is raised. You look to the front of those grapes, you'll also see my brassicas, my onions. Behind those grapes, more brassicas. See those brassicas? I planted them about 2 weeks ago. Protected carrot crop. 2- and 3-year-old perennial crops that have just exploded with life, showering me in flowers and feeding and enticing my bees. Very old cabbage crops. Very old lettuce crops that just keep giving. Garlic that just keeps giving. Owls that keep protecting. This is tomatoes and peppers, and they've been here since last year, protected under the greenhouses. I use this pile of wood chips right here to heat the greenhouses all winter long. I'm going to walk up there and I'm going to snag that thermometer. Here we are, out of the season. The temperature's still up around 100 degrees in the top 1 foot of this pile of chips. Down below it's even hotter. Yeah, there's plenty of fruit there. And out there there's plenty of weeds. That's all weeds, folks. Now we're going to turn our attention to the ground. I'm standing on 2 foot of wood chips. Wood chip compost. The resultant effort of years and years of covering this soil is here. I don't grow in the red clay because it's laden with bacteria. It doesn't have enough hyphae or fungi. It doesn't have enough of the beneficial soil biome to actually choreograph life. Life breeds life, and within these wood chips is life. So right here, really, that's about 20 to 24 inches of wood chips right there, and it's full of life. Now we're going to ask for permission to come in. Garden, can I come in? Of course you can, Creedmoor, come on in. Apple tree, right in the middle. Y'all don't believe me? See the apples? Yeah, it's an apple tree. Let's get a little closer to some lettuce. Got some igloo lettuce, a couple different types of lettuce. Got some new little planting holes right here. Little windows to life. You see, folks, all this is over the red clay, and very little likes to grow in that expansive red clay. It's not very inviting. If you're a plant, it's really hard to grow in a type of a dirt that is restrictive and constrictive. When it rains, it takes on mass and water. And it has a funny way of, well, it has a funny way of making life go away. But when we build over the top of it, this is what we get. Stuff like this. Oh boy. We got so much life popping up all over the place. The garlic's looking great. Here's a baby potato coming up. Here's a mature potato right here. Y'all know what day it is. It's already got flowers. There's another one. So when people ask me what it is that I do about mitigating and fixing the hard clay earth down below, I don't do anything. Why would I waste my time? It makes no sense. At the end of the day, the clay is just going to be clay with some organics in it. And since it's life that breeds life, why not just put life down? That's what I did. Those are icicles right there. Look at them growing in the wood chips. Is this how stuff grows in your red clay? I've got mushrooms, fungi galore, and in a month, you'll see that right there? That's zucchini. In a month, these zucchinis that are roughly 5 or 6 feet apart from each other are going to fill this entire area. Yeah, that's why I only need 6 plants. And I'm giving them away. Y'all see that woodpecker? He just flew in. They're helping. You know, he's yelling at me. He's like, hey, you're in the garden, you're in the garden. Well, I am the garden guy, so that's what I do. Y'all want to see some beautiful flowers? Come on. I'm doing everything I can to convince you guys. This apple tree right here is buried in the red clay. Does it look like it's stressing out? No, because it's adapted over 5 billion years to do so. No, the apple's not that old, but the tree is. How about those 2-year-old Brussels sprout clones? Yellow flowers attracting bees. Overcast day, we don't have that many bees, but they're still at work. Let's look over here. There's a 3-year-old Brussels sprout right there. Okay? All of this stuff is growing right in the wood chips. Oh, and look, more marigolds. They just got planted the other day. They're getting established. Mushrooms. Y'all can see plenty of mycology. There's a brand new eggplant and Swiss chard. Y'all see how the Swiss chard does? I planted them barely a week and a half ago, and they're already 16 inches tall. Are they growing in the clay below? No. Do I want to waste time trying to fix the clay below this? Why would I want to do that, folks? Why? Do y'all see how desolate and barren the clay is? You see how many weeds grow in the clay? What benefit would that give me? Look at this. You see this plot right here? This is all strawberries. And it's about 16 feet tall by about 14 feet wide. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I planted it with 3 bargain basement, dead and dying strawberries that I got from Wally World when they were on clearance. Little pond down there. Y'all see those sunflowers? I don't even plant them anymore. They just grow. They grow everywhere. So when somebody asks me, how do I fix the clay? I giggle and I say, well, I worked diligently years ago to fix the clay, and all I got was heartache. Now I fixed these wood chips on top of the clay. We're going to step down, okay? And we're going to turn around. Y'all see the weeds? Accumulators. They're accumulating nutrients. N, P, K, and Ca. They accumulate magnesium. They accumulate all kinds of things by foraging for them and scavenging for them, just like the birds and the bees do. And then when they get them and they find them, they take them into their leaf structure. They take them down into their roots. They move them around. They feed them to the bacteria and everything else. And your soil improves. Yeah, I said it. Weeds actually improve your soil if you let the system work long enough. The weed system, the accumulator system, is the one that the man upstairs and Mother Nature put together so that even when things get a little bit plain, we still have a way to reproduce this. Yeah, the windrow. Those are all perennial crops. Oak trees, maple trees, pine trees, sweet gum trees, you name it, poplar trees. They all grow in that bacteria-rich soil. And then they drop down little pieces of wood chip. We call that season when they drop that stuff as fall. That stuff hits the ground and the soil decomposers break it down and it enriches the soil. I didn't say it enriches the dirt because it doesn't enrich the dirt. The dirt is always the dirt. It may have some organics mixed into it, but on the whole, it's always the dirt. It doesn't change being the dirt because you mix some organic matter into it. And if that organic matter doesn't come with the biological component to it, it equals a fail. Those are walking onions, for those of you who've never seen one before. It's a type of onion grown fairly well in the South. And it just does amazing things. I need to change my front page welcome screen to include more of this stuff. Folks, don't waste your time trying to fix the red clay beneath your feet. It already does a great job of holding your feet up and keeping your garden materials in place. My garden is essentially a raised bed with no sides on it. See that right there? That's 24 to 30 inches tall. I'm down here, lower, walking backwards, even lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. The rain hits, the rain sits, the rain is sucked up by the wood chips, and the rain is then carefully paid back out to the plants and the biology. It doesn't do that when you try and do it here in this dirt, because the water just runs right on down into the rivers and the creeks and the streams and washes back into the ocean. It doesn't sit around. It barely sits around long enough to grow this grass right here. Yeah, right. I don't even plant grass seeds. There's no point. All that I want to grow is growing right within those gardens. Y'all are still not convinced that wood chips are the way to go? All right, let's go see some blueberries. Y'all talk me into it. We're going to walk over here through the sea of weeds, an ocean of weeds. And we're going to go look at some blueberries. Provided the deer haven't reached their little necks over the fence, we should still see some. And we do. Yeah. Even if you put the wood chips on the ground and you do nothing else, the wood chips break down. Soil biology is introduced to those same wood chips. It moves in and it takes up and secures residency. And once it does that, it continues to work with the plants, the exudates that come out of the plant's roots. So that means you have to grow a lot of plants in order to make the system work. Once that happens, you get life. Life breeds life. Life embellishes life. You cannot embellish life with death, folks. You cannot. Even though you think you can, you can't. Don't ever forget. We don't bury our dead in the gardens. We bury our dead in the dirt. We bury our plants in the gardens, our flowers. We bury our life in the gardens. And then this is what happens. You get these massive, beautiful clusters of blueberries, the fruit from this particular plant. It's a reward for growing well here. You get these beautiful flowers. These things seed every year and make more flowers for me. Thankfully, I have a really great gal that points me towards the beautiful flowers. Marigolds, they stand sentry and stand guard for everybody. And then, more blueberries, folks. More berries and more berries. And they just keep on coming. They just keep on growing. So, yeah. For those of you folks who are challenged by the notion that you actually have to fix the hard pan dirt, I mean, I don't know. Have I not shown you every single crop that grows that you might want to grow? Here's some cucumbers. They're just coming up. I just planted them the other day. There's one right there. Nothing there. There's one right there. There's one right there. There's one right there. I mean, these guys plant themselves because they dropped seeds last fall. When and where can you grow over direct dirt and have the seeds fall, not be picked apart by the birds, and then you get crop year after year after year? Folks, this is permaculture. This is not just Eden growing. This is a permaculture type of growing. I was so moved earlier when someone laid in a post to one of my groups about how blessed they felt for the opportunity to fix the clay. That's why I took the time to make this video. Longer than I usually do. But I really, really sincerely hope that you guys get the point. Stop trying to fix the clay and build soil above it. It doesn't take as long as you think it does. I'm going to turn around and give you one last look. I built that garden 3 weeks ago and it's already growing food. When people tell you you can't build it in the spring or in the same season that you intend to use it, it's because they don't know how to. It isn't because Mother Nature won't allow it. It's because they themselves don't possess the knowledge on how to make it happen. And there you have it. That'll have corn next month. And I'll send you more videos of the corn growing in a brand new month-and-a-half-old garden bed in the middle of a sea of Bermuda grass. All right, folks. Like, subscribe, follow, do whatever you got to do to make sure that you have this stream of knowledge coming your way at all times. Otherwise, you're going to have to experiment for yourself. And the experimentation for me took 40 years. Have you got that much time? Peace. Be well with 2 E's. Live, love, and share everything that you can to make other people's lives better. That's the Eden way.